everybody. My name is Phillip Shepard. I'm a local real estate agent located right here in Northwest Arkansas. And today we're actually going back in history. Yes, that is the thing. Going back to the past. We're going back to the past, looking at some of the old photos of Bentonville and seeing the changes that actually happened in the last 15 years, 10 to 15 years. Wow, that was a shocker for me. So we're going to actually looking through those photos, what has changed, everything. But the most important question is, what was the catalyst? What are those catalysts that actually made the big changes in the last literally 10 to 15 years? And we're gonna kind of deep dive in those a little bit. So let's talk about that. But before we begin, if you could like and share this video with a friend or family, that would make the world the difference. I try to produce as much content as humanly possible about Northwest Arkansas, obviously. So liking and also sharing, make sure that everyone can live, work, and play all in NWA. So thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Also, if you are coming down to Northwest Arkansas, definitely let me know. Let me put you on the calendar. We can meet up for coffee. We can talk about all the reasons why I chose Northwest Arkansas out of anywhere else in America, out of anywhere else. And if you haven't been down to Northwest Arkansas quite yet, I made something called the NWA Starter Pack. Sounds exactly what it is. Literally, starter pack full of all the cool things Northwest Arkansas. What's going on downtown Bentonville? What's going on in Fayetteville? What are the schools like? What are the hospitals like? All the cool things you need to know about Northwest Arkansas. Boop, 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 boop. Package shipped right to your home. Right to your home. Let me know name, address. Where am I shipping this package to? Let me know in the information below. I'll make sure they get that package shipped to you right away. Also, side note, it does come with your first free mountain bike, so that's pretty cool. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. It is my favorite four-letter F word. Free! So enter your information below and make sure they get the package shipped to you right away. All right, so let's jump into some of those photos of like an old school Bentonville, originally almost from 2007 to 2010-ish. So we're talking about less than 15 years ago. This is what Bentonville looked like back then. It was, you know, it's funny because like I've had a lot of, not a lot, but some of the natives who've lived here for quite a few years have said, you wouldn't even recognize this place if you were here 15 years ago. And I was like, maybe, you never know. Like, it's just hard for me not to see it as it is because I moved here just, a couple of years ago. So it's always been what it is. But if you would have lived here 15 years ago, wow. If you would have like left 15 years ago and came back, not recognizable. So let's jump into some of those photos. I'll kind of walk through them where they're at. You might recognize some of them. And then we're going to jump into more of the explanation side as well. So let's jump over to my computer to kind of look through some of those photos. All right. So now we're looking at almost downtown Bentonville in January 2008. So this is like 15 years ago, 16 years ago. My gosh, it is so different. So here's the current version. Even this is a year older. Wow, what a difference. And so you see some of the things that like, obviously the bricks have been redone. It just looks more vibrant now. In all justice, they did not do the photo justice at all back in 2008. Like, my gosh. So anyways, there's gotta be some leniency there, but wow, what a sheer difference. Now let's jump over to, this is where Tacos and Tamales is. This is where like Ozark Bagel is. This is where the Walton Art Museum is. Like, there's a whole bunch of businesses down here and also down here. Let's look at what it is currently today. My gosh, it is different. And I think that's a huge difference there. Just like, everything's fresher, better, looks nicer. It just looks like a very old town that needs a lot of work. New sidewalks, new everything. So they have done some major improvements there. Let's jump over to, oh yeah. So this is where those new Airbnbs are on the actual trail system itself. This is where Slaughter Pen is, All American. This is where the Razorback Greenway is. This is Compton Gardens right here. So let's look at what it looks like currently. You might recognize this. Right there. So this is all the Airbnbs. A lot of times my clients end up staying right in here on the trail systems itself. Compton Gardens, Wright's Barbecues over here. So that is a wild, wild difference. Oh my gosh. Oh yes. Okay. So Blake Street House. Blake Street House is more of a social club, like a health social club, very similar to like Soho House up in Chicago and other places in America and across the world. So anywho, this is what it originally looked like 15 years ago. This is originally the Blake Street House, and it looks it looks a lot different. Oh my gosh. So anyways, big glow up there for Bentonville on that side. All right, let's go over to, oh yeah, so this is a museum. So we're gonna start with this one first. This is what it looked like, obviously currently in state. You can see the Alice Walton School of Medicine being built back there. And then oh my gosh, what's it called? Where the crane is currently, this is an older photo from last year actually. That's where the, oh my gosh, what do you call it? Parking garage is gonna be for Crystal Bridges and Alice Walton and a bunch of other stuff. But this is what it looked like 15 years ago. You can actually, oh my gosh, you can actually see the Crystal Bridges right there, where you can see right there the actual crane. They're building Crystal Bridges back there. That's crazy. Okay, there you go. So this is across right around the corner actually. There's a place called Crystal Flats, which is a large kind of apartment complex, but there's a huge what is the name of that actual park over there? But anyways, long story short, massive park over there, a couple hundred acres, and not a couple hundred, a couple like 50 acres or so, and it is transformed a lot. Pathways, trail systems, there's like baseball, the whole thing. So you get the idea. You get the idea. New trail systems. This was shocking. So this is where the Skyline Theater is, Trash Creamery over here, Bentonville City Hall, all new, obviously, office buildings. Wow. So a lot can happen in just like almost a decade. So, and these were built, I mean, like last decade or so. This is 2007. This was built in the last like 7 or 8 years. So this is all very fresh stuff. All right, so let's jump into the reasons why Bentonville has changed so drastically in the last, let's just say, decade or so. And the first reason, I mean, the elephant in the room, the most obvious answer of all this is because of the Waltons. So if you weren't aware, Walmart exists here, HQ, there's other families as well, the Tysons and the JB Hunts, but Waltons in Bentonville is by far their brainchild. So basically what happened is that, which I was unaware of this even until like last year, like the Waltons, obviously Walmart, a very Fortune 1 company in the world, but the Waltons are the richest family in the world. The world. Now, some people would say like, Putin in Russia is hiding money. He's probably the most wealthiest, or maybe like some Saudi prince with oil. I don't know. But at least on paper, the Waltons are the richest family in the world. Anyways, honestly, Bentonville and even parts of Northwest Arkansas, or Bentonville specifically, is the Waltons' brainchild. Stuart and Tom Walton these are the grandkids of Sam Walton, and then Alice Walton, the daughter of Sam Walton. All 3 of those, plus a couple others, have been huge contributors to Bentonville specifically. So they are the brainchildren, the designers of a lot of the areas here, whether it's the trail systems or Theoden Field or the school system, not the school, but Theoden School, whether it's some of the restaurants around downtown. They are a direct influence to the area itself, and a lot of the money that they have has been put into Bentonville and Northwest Arkansas in general. So they are definitely the top biggest contributor to that. But we're going to talk about some other reasons why, but that is by far the biggest reason, is the Waltons have been a huge contributor, not only financially, but influence as well. And that's kind of one thing I want to mention, maybe I'll mention this later, is that money can only take you so far when it comes to building something. We're all aware of this. You can toss money at anything. And just because you toss money at something does not mean it's going to go well. But it's the influence, it's the structure, it's the intention, it's the designing. They are integrally part of this whole area, more than just money. And the second reason why Bentonville has changed so drastically in the last, let's say, decade, and a big part of that is the Northwest Arkansas Council. There is an overarching council that sits literally over all of Northwest Arkansas that helps honestly drive and also deviate / point in the right direction where Northwest Arkansas is going to go, whether it's from branding or if they need to shore up some things with XNA, which is the airport here, meaning like the XNA needs some help, so they make sure they apply some funds to there, or they need to build a new trail system over here, or they need to fund this or do that. The Northwest Arkansas Council basically brings in a lot of city planners. Obviously, there's a CEO, there's a lot of employees for the council itself, and they are the ones that really directly influence a lot of the cities in the area, make sure things get done at the right time, or they're a resource for the cities to make sure that everyone's on the same path. Now, one common occurrence phrase here in Northwest Arkansas is to avoid Austin, because Austin is what Austin is. There's a lot of similarities to Austin to Northwest Arkansas, specifically Bentonville. In the last decade, you start seeing a lot of similarities. But what the Northwest Arkansas Council has done is bring in a lot of those city planners to make sure that we avoid Austin, hence avoid Austin. But long story short, the council is a big resource for the area and helps dictate a lot of what happens here. A lot of the branding, a lot of the big initiatives happen through the council, and it's a nonprofit, so they can be able to do things that a for-profit business might not be able to do. Whoa, before we jump on to the next point, I have something brand new called Instant Home Updates. So maybe you're looking to move to the area and you're using things like Realtor.com, Zillow.com, or Redfin. Way too slow. Notifications? Way too slow. That's why I made something called Instant Home Updates. Sounds exactly what it is. It's literally Instant Home Updates. So enter your information below: name, bedrooms, square footage, bathrooms. Where do you want to move to Northwest Arkansas? All the things you want to know about your future home in Northwest Arkansas, enter all that information below. I'll make sure you don't miss a single notification when it comes for homes for sale or for rent, all in Northwest Arkansas. Also, side note, every single Friday I send an email out just kind of talking about all the cool things Northwest Arkansas. What's going on downtown Bentonville? What's going on in Fayetteville? When is First Fridays? When is First Thursdays? What new businesses are moving here? What's going on for all fall time season? There's so much going on. So much going on. Enter your name below, enter your email below. I make sure to give that email every single Friday. But sadly, side note, you will get a little fear of missing out, little FOMO, so to speak. But I promise you will be the most informed person eventually when you make your way down to Northwest Arkansas. And the third reason why Bentonville has changed drastically in the last decade or so, and there's a lot of other reasons that I could mention, but this by far is the overreaching biggest one when it comes to infrastructure, and that is the trail system. Now, the trail system is bigger than just Bentonville. There's like over 100 miles of pure trails in Bentonville, whether it's Mount Kohler or All American or Slaughterpin or all the Counsil, whatever the case is. But obviously, Bella Vista has over 100 miles of trail systems up there. Springdale has their own things. Rogers has their own things. Fayetteville has their own things. And even if you start outreaching past Northwest Arkansas, we have Hobbs Park, we have Weddington Woods, we have Devil's Den, we have the OZK trail system, the Highland Trail system south of here, which is almost 350 miles. 350-mile Highland Trail system isn't included in the amount of trail system because it's a little wilderness out there, so that's not part of it. But we have over 450 of like good, solid trail systems within like almost like a 50-mile radius around here that you can hit up any point of any time. So the trail system, the infrastructure, all of that, the branding, the people, the tourism that is coming here, the business that have moved here because of the trail system has been a big contributor and thing for Northwest Arkansas and Bentonville specifically. And the fourth reason why Bentonville has changed drastically in the last decade or so, and this is more of an obvious one, but businesses are a massive, obviously a big deal here. Obviously commerce, food, restaurants, whatever they're, purchasing things, all part of a big deal here in Bentonville. Now, the interesting thing with the businesses here is that some of them are relos here, meaning the last 5 to 7 years, but a lot of them are honestly were born 10 years ago when this place was nothing, so to speak. And so whether they had some insight that I was not aware of, or maybe they were here and they're like, we're gonna start a business and it grew since then. But whatever the case is, there's a lot of businesses here that were started 10 years ago before this ever became a thing on the map, before it ever became the mountain capital of the world, before it ever became the capital of cool. Whatever the case is, a lot of these I would consider mid-sized to up and like small businesses were established here 10 years ago, way before all this. So first of all, kudos to you. And secondly, is that it's interesting to see why this has benefited Bentonville so much is because they are the groundwork for a lot of these things here, whether it's coffee or restaurants or things to purchase or experiences, whatever the case is. These were businesses that are ready 10 years ago that are honestly, like they were doing well beforehand, but they are definitely reaping the benefits now of all this. And the fifth and final reason why Bentonville has changed so drastically in the last 10 years, like going basically a glow up essentially. And this is probably the biggest reason, and because a lot of things hinge off of this, and that is the community. If we had a toxic community of people that want to stay as is and don't want to change, and growth isn't a good thing, or whatever label we want to put there, that is not the case here. If it was those things, Bentonville would not be what it is, and Northwest Arkansas would not be what it is. But something really magical happened, or was here before, or currently, or is growing, not quite sure, but something truly magical has happened in Northwest Arkansas in the last 20, 30 years or so. Whether it's the culture has changed, or people are so ready for growth and development, whatever the case is, the people that were here 10, 15 years ago were really trailblazers in a sense that they saw so much potential that they got the businesses up and going. They built a trail system, they built so many things with the anticipation for the starting line. And just to clarify, we're only at the starting line of Northwest Arkansas. We're only just starting to get publicity, honestly. And so it's interesting to see all these people that have worked so diligently the community, the last 10 or 15 years to get where we're at, to get to the starting line. And it's so fun to see them continue on and be part of so many different things in the community, businesses, etc. That this place that Bentonville's created, that Fayetteville's created, at Springdale, Rogers, or Bella Vista for anything Pea Ridge, these people have created these things with the anticipation for it to be here, and it's here currently, and we're just starting at the basic starting line to get ready to go to the next phase of Northwest Arkansas, and I'm excited to see what the next phase is, honestly. And before we close out the video, I want to make one mention of something, and just because I hear this all the time, and this is kind of the outro of the video itself, And I want to mention this again in the start of the video, is that obviously a lot of people, when they hear Bentonville and they come here and maybe they're a little bit more, they see just the outskirts of stuff and they see like the Walton money. All of that is true. The Waltons have been a big influence in the area. That is by no doubt anything. But the caveat here, and we can look at many parts of our lives and look at governments, we can look at other cities. Just because you throw money at something doesn't mean it's going to be successful in any shape or form. We know this. I'm sure you can think of a lot of examples. What really truly has happened, and this is why I want to mention this in the video, is that it's been a very specific and special combination of Walton money, that is by far true, and Tyson money and JB Hunt money and Northwest Arkansas Counsil and University, all those players. The community of people being on board, a very vibrant entrepreneurship community. The business is willing to get into business, stay in business, and obviously community investing into the business, using small business products. And then all those mixing together with city planners and everything and visionary planners to see what this area is going to look like by 2040. All those sweet things combined has allowed it to grow to where it is, and it has a great bedwork, a great foundation for the next big thing, next jump, so to speak. So it's not just the Walton money, because the Waltons, you can't just throw money at things and things happen. You need so many different recipes, so to speak, and Northwest Arkansas really truly has all the recipes for kind of the next great American city, honestly. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Again, if you are thinking about coming down to Northwest Arkansas, download my 3-day itineraries, link below. Maybe you're a adventurer, maybe you're a sports person, maybe you're a foodie, maybe you're a sightseer, maybe you have kids, whatever it is. There's a 3-day itinerary link down below for you. So go ahead and download it and use it to get down here. Also, when you do come down here, I can give you the $10 tour so I can kind of show you around the whole area. Plus, we can check out some homes for sale or for rent and see how far your dollar would go in Northwest Arkansas compared to where you're coming from. All right, guys, let's see you next one.